All right, we all good? Ready, Soup?
Yes.
Good morning. I'm Rich Gaitis, the Executive Director of the Office of Emergency Management and Communications. With 240 miles to monitor and protect every day, OEMC will continue to coordinate public safety efforts in the Central Business District, the lakefront, and in our neighborhoods. For many, Labor Day signals an end of summer, but in Chicago, it's another busy weekend of festivals, athletic events, concerts, and more throughout the city. This includes Bike the Drive on DuSable Lakeshore Drive, the Chicago Jazz Festival in Millennium Park, concerts at Wrigley Field and Soldier Field, and a multitude of events and street festivals. We encourage residents to make a plan before heading out. In the areas where large events are happening, motorists should be prepared for heavy traffic. As always, we encourage public transportation. This summer, OEMC and the Chicago Police Department activated the Summer Operations Center to amplify our efforts to protect residents and communities citywide. Located at OEMC, the SOC provides strategic oversight and coordinated citywide deployment of public safety personnel and assets to enhance our ongoing collaborative efforts around crime and violence reduction. The SOC has been activated since Memorial Day, and each weekend throughout the summer, OEMC, the Chicago Police Department, Chicago Fire Department, and key city agencies, strategic partners participate in daily calls to facilitate information sharing citywide with all necessary agencies. While we make every effort on behalf of the city to keep residents and visitors safe, we want everyone to know they have a role to play as well. I want to remind the public, if you see something, say something. Always be aware of your surroundings, stay connected to family and friends, and report suspicious activity posing an immediate threat by calling 911. We expect more people gathering on the lakefront this weekend, and it's important to know your location when calling 911 to report an incident. The green pole markers and light poles along the lakefront and DuSable Lakeshore Drive serve as an additional tool for emergency personnel and the public to provide their exact locations for a rapid response. As always, OEMC urges residents to be cognizant of threatening weather conditions, emergency situations, and to heed messages and alerts from city officials. I want to wish everyone a safe, enjoyable Labor Day weekend. Thank you, and now I'd like to bring up Superintendent Dave Brown. Superintendent?
Thanks, Rich, and thank you so much, everyone here, especially Deputy District Chief Locke, Superintendent Escareno, and all the departments represented here, along with the U.S. Coast Guard commanders. I want to say Pinois, like a fine wine, but it's Piganoo. Commander Piganoo and Commander Tillman, who are joining us from the Coast Guard. Labor Day weekend is a special time for residents and visitors to enjoy this great city of Chicago. It marks the end of summer and back to school, and we can always count on numerous outdoor events and activities. It's a great time to be out and come together, but we have to keep safety top of mind. We're coming out of summer, going into the end of summer with a 18% reduction in shootings and a 16% reduction in homicides. But looking out for one another, we can celebrate. We can enjoy each other, and we can have a fun, safe Labor Day weekend. Chicago Police Department works with partners and that you all see here and many others that you don't see on safety strategies for this holiday weekend. We are proactive and working to ensure the weekend is filled with peace. We are dedicated to visibility, engagement, and collaboration. Our officers work with residents. We fight violence. We remove guns off the streets of Chicago every day, and we will be just as vigilant this weekend. We will have sufficient resources in our neighborhoods, in our parks, in our entertainment districts, and in our downtown areas for the many events happening this holiday weekend. Since our parks and beaches are popular destinations, the department will focus efforts in these areas. In our harbors and lakefront area, we are stressing safety on the water at all times. Our Marine unit, in collaboration with the Coast Guard and others, will be on patrol to enforce strictly the laws of the lake. In response to illegal drifting and drag racing on our streets, we've also initiated about a month ago our Caravan task force. So far, we've already made 9 arrests and impounded 7 cars and received 22 additional requests for impounds in the near future. In addition, the department will have more bike patrols and deploy extra resources to enhance safety and security at major events. To support the CTA, we're maintaining a high uniform visibility across the transit system. There will be more officers in our strategic decision support centers. That's our centers that monitor all of our cameras, including the cameras on the CTA, and they will be fully staffed throughout the weekend. And finally, we want every resident, every young person to be safe. Consider your neighbors and make good decisions. I join everyone here today in wishing Chicago an enjoyable and safe Labor Day weekend. And with that, I think I'm asking Jason Locke to come up after me. Jason.
Thank you. How's everybody doing this morning? Good morning. My name is Jason Locke. I am the Deputy District Chief in charge of Marine and Dive Operations for the Chicago Fire Department. First of all, I'd like to thank all the family members, everybody that's out here today, as well as all the on-duty shift members for the Fire Department, Police Department, OEMC that are going to be working this weekend. It's a long time coming, but enjoy the weekend, stay safe. We all understand the charm and allure of our beautiful and vibrant lakefront. It is one of our most valuable resources and a fun destination for both Chicagoans and visitors alike. Summer is starting to wind down, but the Chicago's forecast calls for very warm temperatures this weekend. Lake Michigan is fun, but it is also can be dangerous. In recent weeks, the Chicago Fire Department has had several emergency runs for drowning victims and injured people in the water. These incidents are just a cluster and not indicative of any dramatic increase in the number of water rescue responses compared to the last several years. No one should be swimming on the beaches when there are no lifeguards on duty or when the red flags are in place on the lakefront. No matter how warm the weather may be and the temperatures in the water, you may be, or however accomplished, you want to make sure that you're not swimming by yourself. Even good swimmers can have a bad day. Please don't swim alone. Swim with a partner and understand that even the strongest swimmers can be overtaken by rip currents and other conditions out in the lake. Parents, you guys should be vigilant and always keep an eye on your children. Keep them in sight at all times. Boaters should be wearing life jackets and signal for help earlier than later. Remember that boat operators are responsible for all the people on their vessels, knowing how to properly handle their vessels, proper etiquette when maneuvering around vessels, and the navigational regulations. Labor Day is the last big grill holiday with plenty of sun and clear skies. We anticipate a lot of barbecues and family gatherings across the city of Chicago. We want every family gathering to go smoothly without incident. Some grilling tips that are important to remember. Always keep your children and pets away from the grill. Propane and barbecue grills should be used outside and never on a porch. The grills should be placed well away from the homes, deck rails, and out from underneath eaves and overhangs. Keep your grills cleaned by removing the excess buildup of grease and in the trays below the grill. Lastly, never leave your grills unattended. Enjoy the lakefront this weekend. Enjoy your family and your friends, but do it as safely as possible. If you see something, please say something. And remember, the Chicago Fire Department does not take a holiday. We are on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We are always there when you need us. Thank you.
I think Rosa is coming up next. Rosa Escareno, Park Director.
Yes, good morning. And welcome to the Park District. You're at North Avenue Beach today. Rosa Escareno, the General Superintendent for the Chicago Park District. And as we look forward to the Labor Day weekend, as everybody has indicated, there are two things that have been stated: fun and safe. And that's what the Park District is about. So making sure that everyone that is enjoying what is in between the two bookmarkers of Memorial Day and Labor Day really marks the time of summer in Chicago. And as the summertime comes to a close, we look back on all the great things that we've done over the summer and a reminder of what you should be doing this weekend. But remember that this summer there is a bustling activity across 600 plus parks in the city of Chicago, including the 28 miles of lakefront, which are bustling with runners, bikers, swimmers. And I am just extremely proud that this summer we also we were able to open 37 pools and open 22 beaches, have fully lifeguard, ensuring the safety of our residents. We also held multiple night out in the park events, bringing movies and concerts and world-class cultural experiences to the parks. And then coming out of the pandemic, really extremely proud of serving 24,000 children in our camps and making sure that they had meals every day throughout the summer, and making sure that during that time we were also employing thousands of young people to run our programs. As have been stated already, we have this wonderful weekend coming up, which really is the marking of the end of the summer. And the safety around water is a very critical message for all of our residents to hear. Our lifeguards, our beaches actually will close at the end of this weekend on Monday at 7 p.m. And want to remind everyone that when there is no lifeguard on duty, you cannot be in the water. There are clear signage across all of the lakefront areas, and you can see them right here. But also when you go to the beach, there is red flags that indicate that swimming is not permitted. And as the fire department just indicated, safety, no matter how skilled a swimmer you are, we have seen time and time again that it is those individuals that are actually getting into a lot of trouble, because the water is beautiful, but it's got its own natural course of existing, and it is a very dangerous place to be when there is no lifeguard on duty. So I want to commend all the young people that have worked with us this summer to keep Chicago safe. But swimming is not over. I want to remind our residents that actually, as part of our fall programming, all of our pools, 77 pools, will be open for swimming in every neighborhood in the community, and that's as of September 12th, which is when we kick off all of our fall programming. We encourage parents to sign up now. Also, to the water safety issue, the concern, and one of the reasons why Chicago is one of the safest cities for swimming is that we hold free swim for all first-time swimmers that sign up to our program between the age of 6 and 16. We dedicate a lot of time to learn to swim programming, because we want to make sure that those drownings are reduced to a minimum. So we work on this all year long, and we rely on all these public safety agencies to really work with us to keep our residents safe. So I just want to say thank you. They are out there. They're out there really working 24/7, as was indicated. But please, to the general public, Labor Day is a very magical weekend, because it really is the signaling of ending of summer. But please make sure you are safe. Our goal here is to also remind residents that if you're using the parks, the grilling, the fire department already talked about it, but another very important thing, when you're in parks, please make sure that you use the red cans. Do not put out any of the ashes into our trees. They're critical to our green spaces, and actually those kinds of ashes or anything like that damages and kills our trees, so please be aware of that. Additionally, just as we talk a little bit about the positive activation of park spaces, contribute greatly to keeping our city safe. And the reason why I'm often out with our public safety agencies is because the more we activate our parks with positive activities and recreation, it actually enhances safety and vibrancy to all the neighborhoods. So I hope that you know that we have pickleball coming. It's expanding. We just announced that, and we have a ton of fall programming happening year-round throughout the park system to make sure that our residents have positive, safe, fun alternatives. And with that, I just ask everybody to be safe. Thank you for coming to the parks, and see you at the parks. And with that, I believe, I'm not sure who's next, but thank you.
Pick a new.
Pick a new. Thank you.
Good morning, Chicago. Thank you so much for having me out today. First off, I want to thank you for the kind introduction. Anytime I get compared to a fine wine is a win in my book. But with all joking aside, I'm Commander Tom Picknew. I'm in charge of, I'm Chief of Response for Center Lake, Michigan. So basically, I oversee all federal search and rescue coordination for Lake Michigan. And last year, you may not be aware, but Lake Michigan was number 3 in the nation for busiest search and rescue locations in the United States, second only to San Fran and St. Pete. So With that said, this year has proven to not be a slouch either. We've had 560 search and rescue cases registered for Lake Michigan, and I can tell you unequivocally that the largest concentration of search and rescue cases are here in Chicago, being the third largest city in the United States. Unfortunately, of those 560 cases, 29 people have not come back from them, and that's why I'm standing up here today, is because I want to drive home safety. Safety on the water. It's clear that we have a great partnership here in the Chicago area with all the show forces behind me. But what I need is partnerships with the local boating community. And what I need from these people is, I want to drive home three things. 1, wear a life jacket. 2, file a float plan. And 3, have reliable means of communication. And what I mean by wear a life jacket, 70% of all fatalities on the water are drownings, and of those 70% of fatalities, 87% of people are not wearing a life jacket. It's a simple thing, just wear it. The other thing is file a float plan. File it with your local marina, file it with your loved ones, let them know where you're going, when you're supposed to come back, and what you're going to be doing. Anytime we can take the search out, search and rescue, is a win. Last thing is communications. Cell phones are great, we love them. Unfortunately, they run out of charge. They get wet. They stop working. We all have had situations where there's no signal. A marine band radio is your best friend when it comes to search and rescue. A reliable marine band radio on VHF channel 16. I have 2 people sitting in Milwaukee right now, sitting in a dark room, just listening for some mariner to come across radio and say, "Help, our Coast Guard, Mayday, please come save me." Please. If you follow those 3 things, wear a life jacket, file a float plan, and communications, we can be successful in our search and rescue efforts. Last thing I want to say is please be safe again. I want everyone on Monday evening to come home to their family and tell them about the great weekend they've had, or on Tuesday morning and talk to their friends around the water cooler about what a great weekend. Don't be one of those 29 people that failed to come back this year. Thank you.
Any questions? Or,
My question is for you, Superintendent.
okay,
Thank you. Sabrina from Channel 2.
yes.
So obviously we want everyone in Chicago to be safe during the weekend, and you mentioned that most of the departments will be fully staffed, but I'm wondering how that's going to work, especially we're hearing reports that some people might have been transferred from other departments to be on patrol. Is that something that you're planning for this weekend, going forward? How are we going to fully staff everything?
Sure. So, yeah, it is quite a challenge to staff all of the demands of a city like Chicago, being as large as it is, having the lakefront, the downtown, the issues we're dealing with as it relates to not only carjackings, we're dealing with CTA crime, and we're also dealing now with drag racing and drifting. And we've been dealing with those demands throughout the year. And I just want to highlight, our officers are brave and courageous, dedicated to keeping the people of Chicago safe. And I think the best example of that is our reduction in homicides of 16% so far this year, and our reduction in shootings of 18%. Now, not many cities in this country, particularly large cities, have anywhere near a double-digit reduction. Most cities are up in both shootings and homicides. So the fact that our officers have dedicated themselves to protecting the people of Chicago, and the results are double-digit reductions in gun violence, is a point well noted. But the demands, obviously, is a scheduling challenge for us. And yes, we have reassigned some of our officers from desk duties to field duties, so doing patrols, so that our presence can be felt, and that the perceptions of crime are also something that's really important. When they see officers, people, particularly on the CTA, in our downtown, in our tourist areas, people feel safer. We want them to actually be safer, but also we want to deal with the perceptions of crime, so we deal with all of that. Yes?
Craig Wall with ABC7, or
Hey, Frank.
whatever nickname you might have for me.
I hadn't seen you in a while, Frank. Where you been?
So,
We miss you.
talking
Go
about
ahead.
drifting, yes, well, I missed you as well. Talking about drifting, can you talk a little bit more about what the plan is to combat it for this weekend? Will it involve the dump trucks and whatnot, and boxing people in to prevent people who might participate in this from getting away?
We're focused on one primary thing. All of the things you mentioned, but one primary thing: tow in their car. to where the fines are up to $10,000, such that that car won't be used the next time. So all of the things that we're trying as far as using large vehicles like the salt trucks, trying to box these people in. We have a dedicated task force. We have efforts looking at video to include social media video, our pod camera video, our license plate readers to identify these knuckleheads so that we can take their cars. If they don't have their cars, we don't have this problem. So our efforts all culminate to do one thing. We're focused on taking the cars that are drag racing and drifting in Chicago so that such that they can't do it again.
I wanted to ask you about LaShawn Ford's proposed law, but if I could just really follow up one quick question with taking away their cars. Are the cars that are being used, are any of these stolen or carjacked, or are these cars belong to the people perpetrating the crimes?
They belong to the people perpetrating these crimes. They love these cars. They put thousands of dollars into these cars. Some of these cars' tires are worth several $1,000s. So these are, owner-occupied cars for the most part, not stolen cars. If it's not the owner, it's someone the owner knows that's given the car to this person. But again, our focus is on taking the car.
If I just want to ask you about LaShawn Ford, he's proposing a law that would increase the penalties statewide to make it a mob action felony to participate in these kinds of things. Is that something you support? Would that be helpful for you in doing what you're trying to do?
Just one message to him: hurry up. We need all the tools that we can get. In addition, I would recommend one more tool. The sideshow of this, the spectacle of it all, creates a crowd. And sometimes the crowd brings other cars with them in a caravanning way. We want it to be in violation of an ordinance or state law to be part of the sideshow so that we can cite those folks as well as tow their cars. Yes.
Hi, Stephanie Wade with ABC7. Are you rolling out the K-9 unit teams this weekend on the CTA ahead of the holiday weekend?
So the CTA is hiring K-9s and bringing those security officers back. I would have to defer to CTA on the timeline for that. I think the contract's been signed a couple of weeks ago. We may start seeing the first contingents roll out, but the exact date and timing of that I would defer to CTA staff. Yes.
Gaynor, WGN. Superintendent, can you give us an update on the investigation into the 5-year-old who was shot and killed in Rogers Park, the person of interest in that case being released?
So we have leads, very strong leads on that case. We do have people involved identified. What role they have played is still in flux. So yes, we couldn't bring across the finish line with the person we had as in custody as a person of interest, but we're not done yet. We have more leads to follow up on, and we hope we can bring this case to a closure and bring some sense of peace to this family.
Can you also respond to Maggie Hickey's survey that painted a bleak picture when it comes to Black and Latino men, young Black and Latino men in Chicago, and the interactions that they are having with police, and what you're doing to change those perceptions? Sure.
So Maggie Hickey is our independent monitor for our consent decree, just so everyone knows what we're commenting about. And the survey was such that wasn't, a preferred outcome for us. What we're doing in light of that, 2 years ago, our compliance with the consent decree was 11%. 11%. We are now over 70%. Near 80% compliant with the consent decree, but that's not far enough. Until we change the culture and the perceptions of people, of our Chicago police officers, we really want to show our officers in the best light, because they're brave and courageous. They dedicate everything. They give their lives to protect the people of Chicago. I don't think that all of the things that are surveyed would necessarily reveal that. So we have our work to do, obviously. But we'll appeal to the public to see our officers and their sacrifice.
Hi, Superintendent Charlie Wojciechowski from Channel 5. A lot's been made this week about police overtime and days off being canceled. Can you clarify that situation, especially as how it applies to the Labor Day holiday? Are people losing days off in order to make sure everything's covered this weekend?
So we did not cancel 2 days off for Labor Day, and that's likely hadn't occurred in maybe decades, if not longer. We are very sensitive to the plight of our officers and their schedules, particularly the impact on their time away from the job, spending time with their family, and for their overall wellness. So we're not done yet looking at ways to make sure our officers are well. We have several things that we want to do further. This was a great first step. This is progress. We created some gaps between their schedules, start and stop times, at least 9 hours. We created officers will know when that's happening. So, kind of giving notice was a big thing for our officers, as well as limiting the amount of times that their days off can be canceled. So we think it's a good first start, Charlie, but we're not done yet. We think our jobs as leaders should be to listen to our officers and to respond in kind to their concerns about their wellness.
And a follow-up to that, you've done a great job. I think everyone agrees on the shootings and the homicides and the 55 beats where you've been concentrating. But now it seems a lot of that crime has come downtown, River North. Do you have the staff you need to go forward into these safety endeavors, or do you need the city to come forward with some kind of incentive program to bring more people on staff to defend the city of Chicago?
We need to fill our vacancies, Charlie, no question about it. When we fill our vacancies and we have been making progress, we'll have the staffing levels we need. The council and the mayor have given us the funding to fill the ranks of this department. Now it's about recruiting in what is really the most difficult and dangerous time to be the police. Everywhere in this country, police departments are struggling hiring cops. We're no exception, but we are making progress. Not fast enough, obviously, for our residents, but we are making progress. And our work is never done, unfortunately. It's just never done. Whether it's recruiting, whether it's carjacking, whether it's crime on the CTA, our work is never done, but we're up for the challenge, and our officers are dedicated and committed to it. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.